Hello everyone and welcome to the video. Happy New Year to all of you. In honor of the New Year's, this video is about my bucket list of things that I have not yet done in Japan and I really want to do before I die or before I leave, whatever ends up happening. I've been here almost 18 years and these are still things that I have not done. Some of the things on the list might surprise you for that, and other things on the list you may not have been aware existed, and so maybe they'll end up on your bucket list as well. So without further ado, this week's is a driving video. I got out in the nice weather with some beautiful views of Mount Fuji, so I hope you enjoy. Let's get it. So actually the first few things on this list involve quite a bit of walking. The first one I'm going to talk about is on the island of Shikoku, which is one of the major 4 Japanese islands. It's the one that makes up sort of the inland sea. So the inland sea is between Shikoku and the main island of Honshu. And on the island of Shikoku, there are 88 Buddhist temples, and there is a well-known pilgrimage where you walk all 88. So basically you walk the entire island of Shikoku from temple to temple, often staying the night in temples that'll give shelter to the pilgrims. And I've read some really fascinating travel blogs about people who have done this. It takes about 40 days for someone who's in reasonably good walking shape. And that's just something I really want to do and want to experience. And apparently the best way to do it is to just basically have one pack and good walking shoes, probably a fair amount of money on you, but basically it's a bare minimalist travel. And according to these blogs I've read, people tend to be rather generous to those who are actually on the pilgrimage. So, you know, you'll meet people who will give you a snack or like a rice ball or something, gifts to pilgrims who, you know, are relying on the kindness of others to a certain extent. So that is definitely one that I would really like to try out and experience. The next one that also involves a lot of walking, perhaps even more, I'm not sure, but I would like to walk either the Nakasendo or the Tokaido Trail, which is the old post road that would go from old-time Edo, now Tokyo, to Kyoto. So basically the road that samurai and their entourages would take back in the day. And while the actual post road in many places has disappeared, so you have to make kind of an approximation, I really am interested in doing this one because it will get me off the beaten track in so many ways. You end up in these communities that, you know, tourists never go to. You're going to meet people and experience restaurants and cafes and shops and things that you wouldn't otherwise ever see. Basically a slice of Japan that most people don't get a chance to experience. And I get this impression because I've also read a couple of travel blogs where people talked about doing this particular walk, and it just sounds like exactly something I would like to do. A chance to get away, experience something entirely new. So that's why those two are on my bucket list. Now, it's not walking, but it is kind of wandering, I suppose. It's another long journey type thing. But someday I'd like to take a ferry to Hokkaido in my car and drive around the island for like a month. Basically, I just want to see all of the beautiful wild places of that incredible island and basically have a lot of time in which to do it. Do a bunch of hiking while I'm there. Basically explore the island of Hokkaido. And I know that some people talk about how bicycling around Hokkaido is a great experience, but because I really want to see as much as possible and I want to do a lot of hiking, so like driving to various spots and then hiking from there, bicycling around would eat up a lot of time, and for me the hiking would be a much more fun sort of outdoor activity than the bicycling. So I think it's something I would do by car. Now, you may have noticed that the first 3 things on the list basically have nothing to do with cities, and for the most part I don't really have any bucket list items that have to do with particular cities. I'm just more of a get away from it all, head to the mountains type of person. And the one that is on the list is I need to do a genuine food tour in Osaka. Just like go out and do a true full-on foodie experience in Osaka. I've been to Osaka once. I had amazing food while I was there, but I didn't really focus on that. I just kind of ate wherever was convenient. I really want to go and experience Osaka food, because talk to anyone from anywhere in Japan. Everywhere in Japan has their regional specialties and things that they're proud of, but almost everyone says Osaka is the place for food paradise, basically. I'll tell you what, when I was in Osaka that one time, I ate at an Indian restaurant while I was there, and to this day, it's actually the best Indian food I've ever had in Japan. Go figure. The next one actually also has to do with food, and this is one on the list that will probably surprise people, that despite all of my years being here, I have not done this. And that is, I have never been to a proper sushi bar. I've eaten a lot of sushi in Japan, but mostly at conveyor belt sushi, so kaiten sushi, 100 to 300 yen plates sort of thing. And I have eaten, by the seashore. I've been to the Tsukiji market. I've been to fish markets in Shizuoka Prefecture. So, being in Numazu, right on the water, the fish in my donburi bowl are basically caught that morning and super fresh. But I've never been to the actual sushi bar where you sit at the counter and the master gives you omakase, or basically whatever they choose to give you. And at the end of it all, they take out a little slip of paper and write the price down in pencil and hand it over to you, because there's no prices on anything. You have no idea what you're going to pay. If you're one of those people who knows sushi and you know that there's a specific good order in which to ask for different types of fish, like you should ask for this fish before you ask for this fish, and when the sushi chef recognizes, oh, this person knows what they're doing, that price they give you on the slip of paper might be slightly discounted, but at the end you're going to pay a pretty hefty price, but it'll all be worth it for the amazing real sushi experience that you've gotten. I haven't done it, and it's high on the list of food experiences, or experiences in general, that just have to happen. The next one on the list is Matsuri Festivals that I want to go and see in my time here in Japan. And there's several on the list. I've done some pretty good ones, like the Fujiyoshida Fire Festival at the foot of Mount Fuji. I actually participated at dressing as a samurai in the Shingenko Matsuri up in Kofu. I've been to some wonderful, wonderful fireworks festivals, but there's a number that I really want to go to. The first that comes to mind is the Ombashira Festival, which is in Nagano Prefecture. Basically, every 7 years they cut down these giant trees and ride them down the mountain. It's famous for being incredibly dangerous, and there have been fatalities, and of course I don't want to see that happen, but I do want to visit and experience that festival. My good friend Chris, who you may know from my videos about Aokigahara, he goes every chance. He's basically, since he's been in Japan, he's gone to every single one of those since he's been here, and says it's a really great time, so I'd love to experience that. The Nebuta Festival up in Aomori, where they have these giant lit up floats that go on a parade through town, is another one that I'd really like to see. I want to see one of the Matsuri with Teizutsu Hanabi, or the hand-fired, basically cannon fireworks, which looks like an incredible spectacle, and I'd really love to see one of those. They do it in several different places, though I think the Toyohashi one is the most famous. Could be wrong about that, but that's the one I've heard about at least. And finally, despite having been to Kyoto 7, 8 times in my life, I've never been there in July, August to see the Gion Matsuri. Possibly the most famous festival in Japan, I'm not sure, but definitely a must-see on my bucket list and something that I have to remedy as soon as possible. I might even try to get out there in 2022. Finally, the last thing on the list of things that I have to do or have to accomplish in Japan before I leave this earth, and that is getting a besso. Besso is basically a second house. And for me, it's not a cottage by the seashore, it is a cabin in the woods type image. Like up in Nagano Prefecture or Niigata, so sort of north central Japan, mountainous areas. I just really want a place to get away that's up in the forest, that's up in the mountains. And you don't have to be rich necessarily to get this sort of place. In Japan, there's all kinds of sort of old communities where houses are lying empty, and it might be possible to find a really good spot to buy and kind of turn into a fixer-upper. If it was a Japanese traditional farmhouse, even better, because I really would love it to be like kind of a quintessential perfect Japanese getaway. Old farmhouse, to have a traditional Japanese place like that up in the mountains somewhere to get away to. That would be a dream come true, and probably won't happen until the kid is out of college, but it's definitely something that is on the horizon that I want to accomplish someday. Okay, so anything on the list that you heard and you're like, wow, that sounds like a great idea, I would love to do that, or anything that particularly surprised you, or anything you would advise against, like, no, you probably don't need to do that, that's overrated. Let me know in the comments. Again, thank you so very, very much for watching this video. Watch last week's video if you didn't already, and please like and subscribe if you would be so kind. Hitting the like button feeds the algorithm and helps get my videos out to more people, and subscribing means you will never miss a video about Japan, society, life, and culture from the viewpoint of someone who's been here as a foreign resident for, well, going on 18 years now. So again, thank you very much for watching this particular video, and I will catch you next time. Peace.